Hey everybody, we're over here at one of the Stanley Martins. This is at Buice Lake. This is a wonderful community that has, literally it's in its beginning phases of development. I think there's maybe only 50 houses built in here, so they're probably not even close to around 10% of what they're gonna actually put in. And so we're gonna take you around and show you the model and see what you can get if you're interested in being here close to Highway 92 in Ackworth, and check this property out. Hey everybody, we're back here again today at a new construction. I really want to thank John B. He's set this up for us and got us into Stanley Martin over here at Buice Lake in Ackworth. We get to still be on this side of Cherokee County, enjoying basically the town lake schools for the most part, at least the high school, while we're in the city of Ackworth. So this is excellent. John is the owner of Addie's Inspections, and he has inspected a lot of the products that Stanley Martin has put out there. So, John, I really appreciate you being here with us.
Pleasure. Yeah.
Thank you so much for setting this up for us. So today, this particular model that we're in, we're going to walk through some of the features on this, and I'm going to ask John what he sees with new construction that you guys should be aware of, because one thing I can tell you from experience is always, always, always hire an inspector. Just because it's new construction that comes with a warranty doesn't help you if you don't find the problem you're never going to go look for. That's what they do. All right, so what we've got here is we're going to start off in the kitchen. The kitchen boasts an island, and this island has 4 chairs at it. It's a deep island which you can use in place of an eat-in kitchen, because this particular model does not have an eat-in kitchen. And you have a solid surface, very clean white countertop setup, as well as the farm-style sink, where it's a nice deep single bowl sink, as well as the subway tile backsplash. One of the things we're finding way more common in new construction now is they've stopped putting the microwave over top of the stove. Now this one is electric, so you don't have gas in this particular model, but they do appear to have a ducted range. And what they do with the microwave now is they stack that on what appears to be a double oven, which happens to be a microwave, and sometimes even a convection oven stacked up, which is right over here. This opens up where you have a pantry in through here, and then the coffee bar sits over to that particular side. Now, before we go ahead and leave this area, I want to invite John in over, and one of the areas you spend a lot of time in, obviously, is exterior, attics, crawl spaces, which don't exist here, basements, and kitchens, right?
That's right.
And so what are some of the things that you would want to look for in this kitchen that people should make themselves aware of, that even though it's new construction, they may not even think about?
Sure. Well, first of all, we are actually going to test all the appliances, make sure that they are installed properly, that they're operating. Sometimes we run into a situation maybe where your dishwasher wasn't actually connected to the drain properly. And
well, that's a problem.
So, thankfully, you're probably not going to run into that here with Stanley Martin. They do a great job on their quality control, but we do a lot of inspections across all North Georgia. We can't always say that the quality control is as great as it is here. So all the appliances will be tested and inspected, but then we're going to be looking at a lot of technical code items that pertain to kitchens as well.
Okay.
Whether that's spacing of outlets above countertops, special devices on your appliances with the plumbing to make sure your pipes don't start rattling, making sure that if there is gas, that the gas is installed properly and up to code. So there's a lot of things that come with the code that pertain to new construction that we're going to pay really close attention to. These are technical items. Most homeowners aren't going to be aware of them, but we're going to make sure they're done right.
And that's the reason you hire. It's literally the best insurance you'll ever buy in your life. All right, so next we're going to take you into, this is an open concept floor plan, so we're going to walk right across into the living area and show you the fireplace setup and how they've arranged the entertainment over here. Come on. So in this square footage plan, what you're going to see as the layout is it's spacious in through here. This is not a huge floor plan, but it is a very well laid out floor plan. We've got here a gas fireplace, so it doesn't have any hearth at the bottom, so it doesn't eat up any of your floor space there. And correct me if I'm wrong, but typically these things really can heat the house. Like, they get pretty darn warm, especially in a space where you have a single story here. They've obviously laid out the TV above the fireplace here because you don't have a whole lot of wall space in this particular layout, but it makes it extremely functional, and it allowed in this particular one to have a kitchen table between the island and the couch that allows you to be able to have a space to eat in here. If you wanted to and you wanted more space, you simply could use the island, get rid of the table, and push this whole room back, expanding the space. So it is flexible on how you lay it out. I think what Stanley Martin did great here was show you possibilities of different ways to look at it. Okay, so as you come up the stairs, you have a small landing here. You've got your washer and dryer off on the right-hand side. And then as you come in, it's basically a 3-bedroom that's spread across like this. It was a little confusing, actually, even for John and I, because clearly, now that we've looked at it, the master bedroom is over on this side. However, the bedroom that's over there is so big that we had to wander through it to go, well, is this the master? Because the size really was quite shocking. So we'll start you off at looking at the large bedroom that's not the master. You have your secondary guest room right here, and then the master over on this side. So let's take a look. Okay, so this bedroom is very large, and it has a massive walk-in closet that, I mean, ideally this could be considered a second master because you do actually have a bathroom that's over here. So it fits right now. They have basically a double bed in here. So a king bed really probably would be a little bit small for the way that the doors are laid out, but this is a sizable room. There's a desk in here. There's a closet you could put a desk in, as well as a bathroom and a large bed. So let's take a look at the bathroom and show you what the features are that Stanley Martin are offering. So in here, you're gonna see the Jack and Jill. This comes through, it's nice and large. You're gonna have 2 sinks carried through with the tub enclosure that leads to the other guest room. Also a sizable room, but not nearly as big as the other room, and that's why it was a little bit deceiving. As you head out in the hall and go to the left, you'll see the master suite and actually see some of the upgrade features that they have to offer at Stanley Martin. Let's take a look at the master. So this is kind of where size meets elegance as you get up into here. It is the right size to fit a California king or a king with some oversized nightstands, really to kind of frame them in the window, while still having enough space, but not so big that you have, like, what are you going to ballroom dance, or, you know, those massive suites that just make no sense to me. And then you've got a wonderful master suite that is over here. Now this particular model overlooks Buice Lake itself, and as you can see, it is nicely staged to show you an idea of what it would look like if you were to decorate and live in this property. So in an upstairs situation like this, obviously you guys are inspecting a lot of stuff, mostly, like you said, in the attics. You're going to go into spaces that nobody really cares about. And like a house like this, where there's not a door to the attic, it's a scuttle to go up. What are some of the things that you're looking for as you kind of walk through to be able to check?
Yeah. So even before we go up in the attic, we're going to go around and we're going to check every air vent. If you look in this house, all the air vents are up in the ceiling, and that's because your furnace is up in the attic up there. But it's important to check every single vent. We've had many clients, maybe over the years, who complained of buying an older house and they moved in and said the bedroom's really hot during the summer. It's really cold during the winter. Why is that? And so we come out and we find that maybe the ductwork's been disconnected up in the attic somewhere, maybe even buried under insulation where no one can see it. We see sometimes where the ductwork is crimped up and the airflow can't get through. And so when we're doing new construction like this, we check every single vent in the house, make sure we're getting good airflow through it, so that on that new build, you're going to be sure that it's going to be cooling and heating properly.
I love it. I love it. These are the things you're not going to think about, and it's not going to be caught as like, ooh, there's a crack in the drywall. You're going to see that with your eyes. That's a cosmetic thing, and if it's structural, obviously to get it dealt with. But these things aren't things you're going to see. They're things you're going to feel or notice over time, and they're going to catch it before you ever move in and have to have that frustrating experience of waking up going, why is this room not hot or cold, when they know that it's properly getting, you know, heated or cooled. So yeah, so thanks, John. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, so as you come into here, you're going to notice the kind of marbly kind of countertops. These are just a solid pour countertop, but they're a little bit more elegant than your builder grade that you typically see with this. And then you've got your shower, which is a glass enclosure. It does have a small step, but a bench in there. One of the things that we see a lot of that are no longer in houses are tubs. Like, you're not seeing tubs a whole lot anymore, especially in, you know, the lower price points. If you get into the really big houses, but for saving on square footage, they get rid of it. But the key factor is if there is a female anywhere in the equation, that you have to have a bench seat. And that is one of the things that they did very well over here. When you're inspecting these, one of the areas that you probably have to spend a decent amount of time on that we didn't really mention is going to be the master suite, because you've got a lot of things going on in here. What are the things you're looking for aside from just checking for leaks underneath the cabinets?
Sure. So tile showers are a big one, making sure that the tile slopes toward the drain and is draining properly. That's a common defect that we find. When we get into the bedrooms, we're going to be checking windows, outlet spacing around the perimeter of the room. There's codes that regulate how frequently do you need an outlet around every room in the house. And so we'll be checking that. The operation of every window, making sure that it wasn't damaged. Maybe after it was already installed, it was perfect when they put it in, but what about 3 months later when you close?
And that may be really the thing that to point out some of the value, the additional value that you guys bring is that, like, people go, well, why would they sell something new that's broken? Well, it wasn't broken when it was put in, but how many hundreds of subs have had to come through this property and stuff happens, and that doesn't mean Stanley Martin like is the all-knowing, all-seeing eye and knows about it. So what happens is John comes in and then produces a report, and one of the things I like about Stanley Martin is they're pretty responsive to your reports.
Very responsive. So we have some builders that try to push back on everything. They try to say, no, it's not up to code, I'm not fixing that, whatever. And Stanley Martin is not that way. We've been very pleased. We've worked with them for many years now. Probably over 150 houses that they've built in Cherokee County at this point. And they've been excellent to work with, very responsive when we bring up issues, quick to get them resolved, and they're just a pleasure to work with.
Yeah, I've worked with Stanley Martin a bunch, and we've sold a lot of their products. And as frustrating as the build process can be for a homeowner, because it's really, if you're a control freak, you're not in control during that process. I find that the people are a lot happier at the end with these products because they make the process easier, and we basically are able to get them a product that's really well put together. So this particular model also has a 2-car garage, but because we're in the model home itself, they convert those 2-car garages always into office space. So what we're going to do is actually go in the backyard, talk a little bit about the construction material and some of the other things that At Ease would look at to really kind of put your mind at ease when you're buying one of these properties. All right, so let's head outside and take a look. Okay, so we're here on the exterior, and the one of the things I always like to do, it's a little bit of, I would say, on the boring side, but when you're picking new construction, knowing what kind of materials they use really does matter from my perspective. So one of the things that John and I have talked about before is going to be this type of siding, and known as a hardy plank or a concrete board. This is very much the one I see often. Now there is smooth versions of this that you'll see on houses as well. Now, John, one of the things I wanted to ask you about, and I know we've talked about it in previous videos, is a lot of inspectors will show up on every one of these saying you need to caulk between the gaps on this, and I know that that can be true under certain circumstances. So would you tell us a little bit about the when and how? Because cosmetically, I think it looks like garbage when they caulk them.
Yeah, so wherever you have a joint where 2 boards meet up, like we see right here, you have a couple different options according to the code. One, you could seal this with a sealant or a caulk. The other option would be you could take a piece of flashing and put it back behind the 2 boards. So back behind here, we checked it just a minute ago, there's a little piece of flashing behind every joint. Water will shed when it hits that flashing and not go back behind the siding, which is what you want to avoid. What you can't do is just leave an open gap with no flashing.
And what I can tell you, what I can tell you that you can't see in the camera is they have a piece of flashing behind there that I can actually see if you shine a light in there. And would you agree that this is the predominant choice that people are making in new construction these days, is to flash it properly?
It's the best choice for sure. The good builders are doing it this way. If you choose to put sealant or caulk there, it's going to be a maintenance issue.
Okay.
You're going to have to constantly maintain it. Every 4 or 5 years, the caulk is going to wear out. You're then either going to have a line there, or you're going to have to repaint the whole house. And so nobody really wants to do that. If you just flash it, you're good to go, no maintenance.
What kind of shingle product are you seeing them use in the Stanley Martin setup? Are they using 3 tabs? Are you seeing architectural? Is it a combination of the 2?
Yeah, it can depend on which neighborhood you're in. A lot of times,
price point.
Yep, price point is a big factor there. If at all possible, you want to go with the architectural shingle. This is a textured, thicker shingle that will last on average about 8 years longer than your basic 3-tab shingle. And so when you're looking at new construction, that is a nice feature if the builder's putting those on.
That's awesome. So this is one of the things that we're seeing out there with Stanley Martin, is they're using quality products. They have varying price points, so you might end up with a 3-tab or you might end up with an architectural shingle. If you can get in early enough, I would suppose that the upgrade possibilities might be there, obviously for the price difference. But one of the things they really strive to do is put out a quality product at an affordable price for their communities. And this one is a brand new community, which they think they have only about 50 houses already done in this community. property. So if you're interested in finding out what these price points are, entry price point, you want to stay in the Cherokee County school districts, then this might be the community for you. So give us a call on the number below, and once whatever you decide to buy, always get it inspected. We'll also have the contact information for John B over at Ease Home Inspections in the video and in the link below. If you want to reach out, even if you're not buying here, but you're somewhere in his business zone, they'll be able to get out there and inspect that property. And believe me, the 65 or whatever page report you get is really helpful and worth it to be able to have. I get them on all my properties, and I own a bunch myself. So thank you again. And John, thank you for coming out and making this opportunity happen.
Great.
We appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.